Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam teman-teman semua dimanapun saja Anda berada. Semoga Anda semua berada dalam keadaan sehat walafiat. Dan di malam yang cerah hari ini saya Agus Setiawan Basuni live dari WartaJazz House Gallery di kawasan Cimanggis, Depok, Indonesia. So good afternoon and good morning for those who are accessing this from Europe and also from the United States of America. And wherever you are, I do hope that you are in a good health. Tonight we are meeting again in this beautiful occasion, WartaJazz Talk number 32, with my special guest, which is coming from St. Gallen, Switzerland. So let's just say hi to Claude Diallo. How are you, man?
Hey, hi, Agus. I'm very good. Thank you for having me today.
So how is the life so far?
Well, what can I say? I think it's all over the world. It's the same, right? We are hoping and waiting, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to say a few words to my viewer in Indonesia. Ya, teman-teman semua, malam hari ini kita kedatangan tamu spesial. Jadi tamu spesial kita ini adalah seorang pianis yang sangat keren pastinya ya, dari kota St. Gallen di Swiss. Dan dia adalah pianis Claude Diallo yang mungkin teman-teman sudah mungkin sempat mendengarkan beberapa tune-nya dia yang kami coba informasikan lewat akun sosial media WartaJazz pastinya. Dan tentu saja pada malam hari ini sangat menyenangkan bisa ketemu lagi dengan teman-teman semua dan kita akan ngobrol tentang album terbaru dari Claude Diallo, I Found a New Home, dan tentu nanti percakapan akan kita lakukan dalam bahasa Inggris. So I just say to my fellow that we will gonna talk about your fresh album, which is come out from Time Records, and of course we also want to talk a little bit here and there about what you were doing and your dreams, your your plans in during the pandemic situation, and also probably in somewhere in near future. At least maybe we could prepare something for along the way. So I'm gonna start this conversation with a little bit about your background. Perhaps if you could tell me a little bit, how did you start your career? I mean, are you coming from a musical background in terms of your family, or maybe you could share something with us?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. I mean, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me, and I think this is so cool. This is my very first Zoom interview, and what I like about it is I can click on the participants button there, and then I can see who is there. I see that my very dear childhood friend Matthias Bergenthal is joining us from the Philippines. He's in Cebu, I know that, and I see he's here. And Simon Wirsch, what a fantastic Swiss clarinet player, also jazz player, and he's really very good. So thank you, Simon. Danke fürs Schauen. Thank you, danke Matthias, and Yuichiro Tokuda from Japan. Thank you so much. I mean, I feel very pleased, and of course, I know that this is recorded, so it's not just live. So later people can see it. So I will not greet every person there. Don't worry. But I thought it's nice. So I know these three people are joining us now, and so I'm happy to answer your question. So yes, indeed, I do have a musical background since I'm a child. My parents both used to work in the symphony orchestra in St. Gallen, and so hence I grew up with a lot of classical music around me, opera or concerts. And as a child, I even remember that when I was 5 years old, my parents didn't have a babysitter at that time. And so they would always bring me to the opera house, and the kids the kids of the musicians had their own loge, like to watch the opera. and all we had to do, we could play games, we could, but we were not allowed to talk. So that's a funny childhood memory, being in the opera house while all the adults were listening to the opera and we were playing games and just be quiet. And and soon I went into jazz. When I was 13 years old, my piano teacher, Rita Simonini, who unfortunately passed away exactly about 1 year ago, she introduced me to Oscar Peterson, a jazz pianist from Canada. And until today, Oscar Peterson influenced my music a lot. So I was very influenced by this musical encounter through discovering the music of Oscar Peterson. And that's how I came into jazz. So that then from that point on, I only wanted to listen to jazz all day long.
All right. And then when exactly for the first time that you really play for professional?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say when it starts to be professional. Does professional mean that you can earn money with doing it, or is professional if you get some critical acclaim? But of course, I mean, soon after that, when I was around 15, I formed my first band, and I wouldn't say it was professional, but we did get some money, which was cool. We played in St. Gallen, we played little bars, little clubs and things. And the name of the band, I remember, was called Désert. Désert means the desert in French. And I can't even tell you what kind of music we were doing. It was really a mix of all kinds of music. It had some blues in it, some singer-songwriting, it even had some punk elements sometimes. So it was really a strange group. And then from that on, I moved on pretty quick with different experiences, groups. And my first really professional group, I would say, that I recorded a CD, I went on tour and things like that, was when I was 18. I founded the group Bliss Rhythmia. It was a Swiss fusion group. We did 3 albums together, and the band still exists. They just had their 20-year anniversary. Like this year, this band has 20 years anniversary. But I left the group in 2006 when I was busy in America. But yeah, so I would say when I was 18, I started to be professional, I would say, yeah.
We now moving to the your career. I know that you are, after being influenced by the great Oscar Peterson. Actually, I was lucky to watch his some of the last performance before he passed away.
Wow.
Yeah, that was in Toronto a couple of years back. Maybe you could tell us about your experience being enrolling and study in the States, in Berkeley, and you lived there for how long? 11 years?
Well, yeah, about 14 years actually. I lived in the States. Yeah, I mean, I was privileged that I was able to go to study at Berklee College of Music in Boston, not Berkeley, California. A lot of people always mix up this school with Berkeley, California. And yeah, so I went there in 2004 and stayed until 2006, and it was amazing. Really, I could really highly recommend this experience to everyone who wants to be a musician. I'm addressing now the young people in Indonesia who might watch this interview. And it is really an amazing place, for musicians to not only network with the whole world. I mean, you have people from 75 different nations there. And it was the first time in my life where I felt that what I was doing as a musician is really something that has a deeper meaning. While in Switzerland at that time, I was really struggling to get out my voice, my own voice, or to be heard, or be given opportunities to perform for an audience in another city than my own city. So studying in the United States was really a big deal for me, and I feel really privileged that I was able to do that. And then after Berkeley, I quickly moved to New York to do a master's degree there. I studied at Queens College at the Aaron Copland School of Music. And to be honest, like in New York, I didn't feel that connected with the school. Maybe it was because I studied too much, you know, after all the studies in Switzerland and then studies in Boston. I just wanted to get out and play. But the good thing about New York was I was not only studying there, I was also in the city. I was in New York, and that was really great. I mean, that was life-changing for my career being there.
And when you had a chance to, study over there, of course, there are a lot of experience that you encounter, right? What was memorable thing that you like? Of course, you already studying in a music school, but I mean, maybe you have some moment that I need to be like really focus on this thing. Maybe after seeing concert or anything that really triggering you, like I really want to be in that level, something like that. Is there any kind of moments like that?
I have to apologize. I was distracted because, interestingly, my mother tries to see this. I see her. She's there, Gabi Diallo. That's my mother, and she just wrote to me. She wrote to me. She cannot hear anything. There is no sound for her. So I think it's a technical issue that she's having. So I don't think I can solve it. But just wanted to address.
Yeah, I just saw somebody also mentioning in Instagram, and I just try to fix that, and I do hope that they can hear us right now.
Yeah, maybe you can help to fix it. But in that time, I see Tina. Hey, Tina. Hello. I see Tina Stamuleker. She's a great designer. She designs little cards and things. She has her own website, really cool stuff. And then I see my friend from Germany, Ludger Dona. Hey, Ludger. Hello. He just removed to Karlsruhe. He's a great pianist. Yeah.
All right. And so, I would like also to say hi to a few friends who are joining in Instagram. There is David Silva, and then Anjuan Julia, which is a guitarist, the Indonesian young jazz guitarist coming from Bandung. And
really?
Yeah. So feel free, everyone who joining through the any social media, and if you like to join us in Zoom as well, the link is available through the website of WartaJazz and also in our social media. We just posted some quick links so you can bypass the registration system. Okay, back to the conversation about.
Yeah, please repeat the question. Please, I was really distracted. I apologize. I mean, this is really new to this Zoom meeting. Like there are people on Instagram, on YouTube, like on my WhatsApp. Like it's a little crazy, but I like it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's natural that we connected everyone, and usually this becoming also like the online gathering for everybody after some time, of course, because just like in many other places, live concert is still not allowed for for the large community, and we just have to live with that and try to deal with that somehow, And back to the back to the conversation is I was asking if you do have a moment that really like transform, I would say, or maybe like changing your perspective about like the music industry. I want to become really a real jazz pianist or something like that. Do you have that kind of moment when you were studying in the state, or you already have that long way before you enrolling study in the States?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, I remember I had this moment when I was 16. I realized I really want to become a jazz musician, and then I started to think, how can I do that? How can I proceed this path? Because in Switzerland, it's not a given path. It's not like you grow up and then you go, I want to be a jazz musician, and people go like, oh yeah, sure, fantastic, here, sign up. So I I remember I got this I started to read Downbeat magazine, and in one issue of Downbeat magazine, I see it is behind you. There is Downbeat magazine right behind you. It's what a great magazine. And there was an issue just about schools, where to study jazz, and it had all the schools in the world. Like, it was unbelievable. And that's how I found out about Berklee. And from that moment on, I knew I want to become better. I want to go study in the States. I want to go to the source where jazz is coming from. And at Berklee, I had many moments where I really felt this is the right thing to do. I mean, this is the path I want to go. Like, if you suddenly get approval from people you admire. Like, I was studying with Danilo Perez. I don't know, do you know him, Danilo Perez? Like, he is or used to be the pianist of Wayne Shorter, among other things. And studying with him was like opening my focus. Like, before I was thinking about jazz like this, like kind of narrow-minded, and then I suddenly opened my view to what are the possibilities. And I had, during this time at Berklee College of Music, I had many great encounters with idols of mine. Someone like Marcus Miller. I met Marcus Miller, and you were able to play with these people. I got a masterclass with Michel Camilo, and I got a big lesson out of these things. But yeah, I mean, just being in the States, like getting to play with these great students, these great musicians. Esperanza Spalding was studying with me. Esperanza Spalding was a student while I was there. So, you were hanging out with people like that. And that I hope this answers the question.
Okay. I would like to jump to this recent album, which has been released by Time Records. Maybe you could show the cover of the album.
That's in a way that's very cheesy, but I love doing it. Like, yeah, that's my album. Woo.
So this is called "I Found a New Home."
Exactly.
And it's a beautiful cover with two different
colors.
With two different color scheme for both CD and the LPs. So perhaps you could tell us a little bit before we tease people with maybe one or two tracks from that album. What was story or concept behind?
Yeah, well, I'm happy to share this information with you. So one thing I have to say is I met you the first time in 2019 at the Jazz Ahead in Bremen. And the same happened with the boss of this label called Time Records, because the reason why I went to Bremen, like to the jazz, maybe for those who don't know, Jazz Ahead is a very important fair, international jazz fair, where musicians, managers, labels meet, and you can connect. And my goal was I wanted to get a label for this album. And I succeeded. I went there, and then I met Joe Bickard from Time Records, and he liked what I did. And so this work with the label came to become a reality. And why the title, why the album? So what's happening is I used to live in the United States between 11 and 14 years of my life, like, on and off. I went to China. I also came back to Switzerland a lot. And to me, New York was always my home, I felt New York is my base, is my home. And there I have a trio called Claude Diallo Situation, with two American musicians. One is Lucas Curtis. He already won 2 Grammys. One was with Eddie Palmieri. And he's an amazing bass player. Like, I was privileged to study with him. That's why I got to know him. And the other one is Andy Bauer. He's a drummer, and he has a studio in New York. So I met Lucas and Andy while I was studying at Berklee College of Music. And first, Claude Diallo Situation was European based. I found it with my long time and dear friend Massimo Bonanno on drums, and the electric bass player Laurent Salzar from France. And the title I found a new home has many meanings here. One is, after a long time living in the United States, I moved back to Switzerland. I'm here in Trogen. I'm from St. Gallen, but I'm living in a little tiny village in the mountains in Trogen, in the canton of Appenzell. And so that's my new home, you see. So basically, so on the cover, you see, this is supposed to be New York, you know, like the big city. And this is my little house here in Trogen. So that was the idea behind that. And then I found a new home, in that sense, also means musically, you know. I kind of, with this album, I feel that I found my music, the way, what I want to be as an artist. Like, I'm very happy with the result of this album. And then with I found a new home, I also mean the trio. I played with Massimo and Laurent for almost 10 years. Like we played 9 years together. And then, you know, things change sometimes, and people go other ways. And so this is the first album I'm having Lucas and Andy on the album. And I'm still playing with Massimo. Together with the Italian bass player Rosario Bonaccorso. They are my European version. So I have two versions of my trio. I have the European version with Massimo and Rosario, and I do have the American version with Andy and Lucas. And this is my first American trio release. Basically, yeah, that's it.
Okay. I do have a few questions more related to the this group, the situation, and also the title of the album. But of course, before we dig more into this album, I would like everyone and encourage everyone to listen to this one. So I'm just gonna play this. This one was taken from the Cap Studio or Cap Cafe, or what was that? The venue.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure about the venue.
Yeah, that's funny. CAF, KAF, is a short abbreviation for klein aber fein, and klein aber fein is German for small but delicate. So it's a small jazz club kind of venue that is organized by a journalist like Richard Butz. He's a famous jazz journalist here in Switzerland. Mm-hmm. And he has this series where once a month he invites people to play in this thing. And that actually is the only real video recording of the trio with Andy and Lucas, because we were supposed to do a video in April 2020, and then the whole thing started, you know? So I haven't seen my trio since 2019, actually, which is kind of crazy, but we still released the album.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna find the new home in this situation.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, everybody, let's enjoy the Claude Diallo Situation, featuring Lucas Curtis and Andy Bauer. I found a new home. Enjoy.
Thank you, Agus.
So it's really nice to see that kind of moments, because
Thank you.
I believe after the after the limitation that you do have, then you are now able to say at least present that video for those who are missing the band.
Yeah.
Perhaps that could um, giving some missing points that you have, because you cannot really meet the guys who are part of this album. And so
Yeah.
last year you were have a chance to actually make a what you call it, like a concert with only your Swiss formation, the Claude Diallo Situation formation. So perhaps you could, before we are talking back to the album, you could tell us about this formation. You have this European and like international formation, or what is the who is the original members of the Claude Diallo Situation?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So originally I founded this band Claude Diallo Situation at Berklee College of Music with my dear Swiss drummer friend Massimo Buonanno and a French bass player by the name of Laurent Salzar. That was in 2007, and then we worked together until 2016. And then I felt that I want to change the sound a little bit more to upright bass, because Laurent at that time only played electric bass, and so I had to switch the bass player. So I found this amazing Italian bass player called Rosario Bonaccorso, with whom I play today. And Massimo still stayed with the group, but he got really busy with some international acts, some other things, other music related things. So I started to feel, okay, I mean, if I go to Asia, let's say if I have a tour in Asia and Massimo cannot come, then I need another drummer. And so I thought, well, I might as well just use American people. And because I used to play with Lucas and Andy during my time in Boston and in New York, I felt that they would be the right people to become the American version of Claude Diallo Situation. This is how that happened. May I just ask a question? I have a friend here from Germany. She wrote me while you played the song. She wrote to me that she registered to see the interview, but she didn't receive a confirmation link. And she gives me the email here. I mean, is there anything you can do about it?
Sometimes that happens because it goes to the like a spam folders. So you need to check on that spam folders.
Okay.
If you could, I mean, if you happen to watch the show through the social channel, you can just add my number, which is very easy, +62 81 and WartaJazz.
Wait, I'll write to her. +62
81 and just WartaJazz. You will find that in your dial number there are alphabets, and you just type that alphabets. It must, I mean, it must be very easy to do that. But I will also try. Yeah, I will also try to post something on the screen if you're watching in Instagram, so you will be much more easily to join us if you like. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Claude Diallo Situation nowadays has two bands. One is the Massimo and Rosario in Europe, and then Lucas and Andy in New York. And we do have a live stream. I mean, you mentioned before, like I cannot see my friends, and yeah, that really hurts in a way, because we built up such a momentum. We built up this thing going on, and now it's not possible to play. But starting April 30th, I will do monthly live streams here in Switzerland with different projects. And on April 30th, I will start with Rosario and Massimo, the European version of Claude Diallo Situation. And then I will invite the amazing Italian jazz pianist Dado Moroni. I don't know, probably you know him, he's internationally acclaimed. So I feel really happy that he found the time to come. And it is possible, like people from Italy are allowed to enter Switzerland. It's kind of complicated. He needs a test and needs to be safe and all these things. But if everything goes well on April 30th, I will do this live stream concert four-handed with Dado Moroni on piano and me, and then second set, the trio and us. If you have the link, I'm not sure if you have it handy, if you want to put it in the chat or show it to the people in the interview, that would be amazing, but it's okay if you can't do that. But yeah, it would be nice if people join me there on April 30th. Thank you.
Share the screen for everyone. So this is the information that Claudio has been mentioning. And of course, I will also share this later on along the conversation. Continue, Claude.
Yeah, wow, you're so professional. I'm really impressed. Like, where did you just pull up this? Like, that's amazing. You know, I have to say, I feel a little overwhelmed with the modern technology. I mean, I sound really old if I'm saying that. I'm turning 40 this year, and I wouldn't say I'm old, but sometimes I feel like I'm not up to date with this whole thing. You know, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then Zoom meetings and stuff. So sometimes I really feel overwhelmed. I don't know if other people who are watching this interview feel the same, but you are really real pro, man. I mean, it's unbelievable, like all the things you can do, and with all these social media, it's really amazing. I mean, in general, what WartaJazz, your company, WartaJazz.com does, and I recommend to all my friends who are watching this to check out your website. I mean, it's really impressive what you built over the last 20 years. I mean, my congrats to that, really.
Oh, thank you very much. And now back to the this situation a trio that I was just asking. Is that means that you also will gonna say prepare the Indonesian version of the Claude Diallo Situation, for example? If you know, finger crossed, if we had a chance when the pandemic is over, or at least being quote unquote controlled somehow, then allowing us to travel again, you know, and meeting people that, you know, share the same love of with this music, you know. Are you considering that as well, or I mean, if they say yes, then what would be the criteria? I would say if anyone, because I believe there are many people who are just watching now. I just sawing one of our famous saxophonist and flutist, Agus Setiawan, just joining us in Instagram.
Oh, thanks for joining.
Bang Arif, thank you for joining in. And I saw there are also Nina. Nina is here. We're definitely gonna play something for you, Nina, in this conversation. I also would like to say hi to Dian, Bang Dian, which is coming from Batam Island, next to the Singapore, which is only like 30 minutes from Singapore. And let's see. There are also bass player Chaka Priyambudi, and also okay. Excuse me if I say something also in Bahasa. So I saw there are some friends who are coming from Bandung, the Highland. One of the beautiful city that we do have in Java. It is being called Paris van Java, because the beauty is similar to Paris. And there are many others. I cannot really say hi to everyone, but thank you for joining us in Instagram. We're gonna check the YouTube later on, but back to the conversation. I mean, if you wanna say that you wanna set up the Indonesian trio, perhaps for the Claude Diallo Situation, what would be the criteria?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I really like this idea because, you know, a lot of people in Switzerland, musician friends of mine, they have this idea like, I have this band and it has to be this band. Like they couldn't even consider changing up the band or traveling alone to another country and then have other people replace their bandmates. And I have to say, I mean, certain music is really complicated. So I understand that you don't want to use just some people you don't know, and you need also some trust that you think they can really do the music. But nowadays it's almost inevitable that you need to play with other people. Like you can't always bring your own band. Like it costs a lot of money to bring a whole band to another country, and then you need the hotel and you need to pay them the fee and everything. So it really sums up. And I was really privileged that I had the possibility to bring my own group. Like I had the support of many different Swiss organizations who are able to support tours like that financially. Like for example, Pro Helvetia is the Swiss Arts Council, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, so. But I also have some groups in the Philippines. Like when I go to the Philippines, which I go quite often, I can't always bring my friends from America or Switzerland. So I have a huge network of musicians in the Philippines I'm using to play with me. And I could easily imagine that this is possible in Indonesia. I mean, you guys have amazing jazz musicians. Joy Alexander, the young prodigy. I mean, I don't know if I can say prodigy, but to me, he's a prodigy child. And it's amazing how he can play jazz at this young age. And I know there are many other people in Indonesia, and generally speaking in Asia. I mean, here in Europe, here in Switzerland, we don't see jazz really connected to Asia. You know, it's kind of, you know, maybe you guys think of France with red wine, and you wouldn't think of a good red wine in Bulgaria, for example. But Bulgaria has amazing red wine. But you know, so to me, it's like in Europe, jazz is not really connected with Asia yet. And to answer your question, sorry, I really I did a huge detour to answer your question. The criteria to play with me, let's say in Indonesia, is simply to check out my music and to know how to play your instrument. And these two criteria would be enough for me to try an encounter with new musicians, and it would be amazing. Yeah.
Right. So buat teman-teman yang kebetulan nonton acara kita pada malam hari ini, barusan Claude bilang kalau dia akan consider untuk bikin formasi Claude Diallo Situation kalau dia punya kesempatan tur ke Indonesia. Ya nggak tahu kapan ya, karena emang kita masih di tengah pandemi dan seperti sama-sama tahu, kita belum menerima tamu internasional untuk datang ke Indonesia dalam waktu dekat. Tapi setidak-tidaknya kalau teman-teman tertarik, Claude sudah membuka kesempatan. Dan yeah, for those who are asking how to join, I just put in Instagram. If you happen to join with the Instagram, I give you just a link over there, which is quite easily bit.ly/WJ Talks Zoom. You just enter that and then you should be joining us immediately. But again, if you had any trouble,
can you write that in the chat? Can you write that in the chat?
Sure, I will share in the chat as well.
That would be amazing. Then I try to send this to my friend in Germany who desperately tries to get in here but cannot. Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. Now I would like to move with the how did you basically compose for this album tracks, you know, besides the title of the song that we just played, which is also the same title of the with the album. So how was the other song, for example, the Nina's Team, for example?
Yeah, well, you know, when I compose, I don't just sit down at the piano and I start to compose melodies or chords or put things together. I always have an idea, like a movie director. I always see pictures. I see a story. And lately, I started to compose a lot about people, you know, people that are close to me in my life. And Nina is my aunt. She's the sister of my mother. And, you know, I could say that she's like a second mother to me. Like, since I'm a child, I'm in very good relationship with this aunt called Nina. And she's a pianist herself. Like, she knows how to play classical piano pretty well, you know, as a hobby, but still, she's really good at that. And when she had her birthday a couple of years ago, I was thinking, instead of just giving her a gift or a present, I will write her a song. So that's how I came up with this composition Nina theme. And so that's how I came up with the name. You told me, right, in a conversation I had with you before, that in Indonesia, Nina is a very oftenly used name, right?
Yeah, it's a common name.
Common name, yeah. That's so cool. So
just like myself, you know, it's Agus is also being used because basically we have an Agus. So because I was born in August, that's how, you know, my father gave the name, which is basically naming after the month that you are, you know, born. So we have the January for January, and then February for those who are born in February.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
And Maria for March, something like Aprilianti.
So I got to change my name into Claude June Diallo or something like that.
Yeah, it could work as well, you know. And all right, so these Ninas, of course, is part of the song. And what about the others? How many songs actually
have a quick
included in this album?
Yeah, if you have a quick look, I have it right here. So I have 4 tunes on the A side and 3 on the B side.
Okay.
And okay, so I Found a New Home, we already discussed, Nina theme. And then Animations Contemplation is not my composition. That's the only composition that's of Andy Bauer, the drummer of the group. And so he wrote this when he was 16. Can you believe this? Like, he wrote this composition when he was 16. And like 20 years later, we recorded. It's kind of funny. And then Leo Mathieu, that's my son, Leo. He was born in December 2017. And just this album was recorded 1 month after he was born. And so I was in the studio and we had a quick break. And then I just felt I want to play something for Leo. I want that on this album, there's something for him. And so this is a one take. I didn't even really fully compose this one. I was in the studio. I thought about Leo, and I really missed him because 2 weeks after he was born, I had to go back to New York to do some stuff there and record this album. And so, yeah, it was just a one take. I sat down and I played and I let my feelings go out. And then this Leo Mathieu composition came out. And then there's on side B, there's One Last Prayer for You. That one I wrote for a fan. In Boston, I had a fan. Her name was Lorraine Bowling. And she passed away very suddenly when she was like 51 years old. Nobody really knew what happened. And so yeah, she was really a huge fan, and she helped me to promote my music, and she called radio stations and talked about me, and so I wrote that song in memory of her. And then Yours is dedicated to my wife, Daniela. I wrote that for her. And then obviously McCoy Meets Monk is dedicated to two of my piano heroes, Thelonious Monk and McCoy Tyner. And you know what's so strange is the month that album got released, McCoy Tyner died. That was very deep to me. You know, the moment this album comes out, he passed away, and he will certainly be missed. Like, he's one of those piano heroes that don't exist anymore. And luckily, I was able to give him the composition in 2009, because I wrote this tune in 2009, and I met him personally. So I gave him the sheet, so I knew he had it. I don't know if he liked it or not. He never wrote me back, but yeah. So yeah, you see, when I compose, I have a theme. I think of people, I think of nature, of pictures, and then the music comes to me, and then I write it down. basically that's how I compose. Yeah.
Okay, so you basically cover your close, I would say, everyone who are really close to you is within this album works, and when you do compose, is there any particular routine that you will do? Like, I don't know, some people may just want to go up to the mountain or something like that, stay there for 1 week and then, start writing something. Or is there anything in particular for you?
Yeah, well, yeah, there is something, and to be honest, it's kind of annoying. It's something that it's not really good. I mean, it doesn't help to compose. The problem is, like, when I compose, I'm a perfectionist. Like I have some musician friends. They just sit down and they write something, and then they go, okay, that's my composition. But I cannot start to write it down on paper until I think that it is perfect. So that means, so I go to the piano and I start something. Then I think, okay, that's cool. Then the next day I think, no, it's not that cool. I thought it was really cool yesterday, but today is not that cool anymore. And then, sometimes the compositional progress takes months with me because I'm never satisfied. And then sometimes I really have to jump over my own shadow and say, okay, listen, if I continue like that, it will take 3 years to put it out. And then I put it out. But then even if it's out, like if I wrote it on paper and I already recorded it or I performed it, it takes sometimes up to 10 years for me to still change little things and make adjustments. And so I can only say after 10 years, I can say, now it's done. Yeah, that's the composition. That's the way I think it's perfect now. So that kind of slows me down a little bit in my compositional progress, but I think all the compositions I put out have really something deep in them, like not only musically, but also from the story behind the composition. Exactly, yeah.
Okay, I think it's time to listen up to this song,
Nina,
which is also taken from your last album.
Thank you.
And this song, I would say, dedicated for any beautiful woman out there, especially within Indonesia, who has a name Nina. Jadi ini lagu buat teman-teman semua yang tinggal di Indonesia atau mungkin juga di negara tetangga, di jiran, di Malaysia, Singapura, mungkin selatan Thailand dan Philippines yang berbahasa Melayu dan kebetulan namanya Nina, atau di mana saja Anda around the world who has Nina. This song is for you.
Yeah.
So beautiful. And
Thank you.
Nina just Nina Sari Ishak just sent and just give her comments on Instagram. Is a very dynamic, she said.
Ah, thank you. I agree, Ma. It's very dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, for those who are also just joining in Instagram, we are turned off because Instagram is only allowing us for doing a live session for 1 hour. So we will be turned on again maybe in about 1 or 2 minutes. So please stay tuned if you happen to be connecting in Instagram. But you can also check in our YouTube as well. Okay, continuing to the conversation about this album. So you were already launched this album with your Swiss version of the band in September,
yeah,
right?
I mean, European. I mean, the people you saw in this video is Massimo Bonanno on drums and Rosario Bonacorso. Rosario Bonacorso is not Swiss. He's from Italy but lives in Austria. So I would rather call it the European version. It's more like a European version. Yeah.
All right. So this video is also available online somewhere. If anyone would like to, I want to listen again and again and again.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, actually, I didn't realize, but this is a premiere. This is the people who saw this are the first people to see this because this version I created especially for my Patreon. I will start a Patreon account.
I see. All right.
For my live streams, because on April 30th I have this live stream with the band you just saw. So if you want to see this band live, you can jump into my YouTube channel on April 30th. And this video is also on my YouTube channel when you watch the live stream of September. This is taken out of a live stream I did with that trio. Yeah. So yeah, you can find it when you go Claude Diallo YouTube and put in live stream, you will find this video from September. And this version that you just showed is there to see again and again and again.
And of course, you just briefly showing the album of this one, and it's available in both format, right?
Yeah,
CD
this one. Yeah.
Also,
thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, this is the vinyl blue cover and the CD in red cover, and yeah, it is available on the website of Dot Time Records. dottimerecords.com, and then you go to jazz releases or you go to my name. And for people watching in Switzerland, they can also get this album directly through me. They do not have to go through the label. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So it must be.
Thanks for mentioning it. Thanks for mentioning it. Yeah.
And for those who doesn't really have an access to the, they don't have the player to play the vinyl. You're also available in a digital platform, right?
Yeah. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Music. Like you name it. All those digital channels. The label has it distributed there as well.
See, all right. So teman-teman buat yang kepengen dengerin lagi karya dari Claude Diallo bisa pergi ke Spotify atau Apple Music, YouTube Music, dan beragam digital platform lainnya. Silakan Anda bisa join di sana untuk menikmati musik dari Claude Diallo. Dan kalau pengen nonton live streamnya dia yang bulan September itu juga available di YouTube-nya dia, tinggal ketik aja namanya Claude Diallo. Dan tentu saja ada banyak musik-musik lainnya juga yang dia mainkan. Okay, speaking about this pandemic situation, of course, you already mentioned that you finally launched this remotely from your hometown. With your European trio instead of your original trio that being recorded in the city. What is your next and upcoming plans in the future regarding this still in pandemic situation? So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. I mean, I have many friends who have no clue what to do, and to be honest with you, it took me a long time to think of what can I do now. It's a good question. Yeah, what can we do? And the good news is in Switzerland, the government is really trying to help the artists of all genres. You know, not just musicians, like actors and everything. And they launched this campaign where you can reach out to an audience with live streams, and they financially support you with that. So I will do a series of 7 live streams starting April 30th, the one you already showed before. Maybe if you want to show it again for the new viewers, it's up to you. But then I will do 7 live streams, and I think it's great because the Swiss government does not forbid live streams that are based on a professional level. So if I would do it for fun, it's not allowed right now. But because I'm a professional musician, and they make it possible. And you know, we in Switzerland, we are all waiting to hear from the government on April 14th. And on April 14th, the government will inform the people if concerts will be allowed again, but only in a small format, you know, because before we went into the lockdown in Switzerland, little concerts were allowed, you know, like up to 50 people. And behind me, maybe I want to mention this. I mean, this is not just some random colorful stuff. And these are all posters made by two graphic designers, Tabea Ecker and Julia Roman. And this was my little, I could say my baby, you know, my personal project in the year 2020, because I organized jam sessions in 12 different villages where I live. And each poster is the advertisement for another jam session. And I found this organization called Ostschweizer Jazz Collective. This is German for Eastern Switzerland Jazz Collective. And we are over 500 members, all jazz musicians who network together. And we meet on monthly jam sessions. So once a month we meet somewhere and we do a jam session, and there's people from the audience joining us. And this is a project I'm still organizing. So I'm hoping that the government will allow small audience, and then I have many events scheduled for this year. And I'm just hoping that I'm allowed to do them. So these are my main 2 projects. Like, one is the live streams from my own music, and then these little live events that hopefully can take place again soon.
All right. What are you planning to do on this International Jazz Day? Yeah.
Yeah. So as you see, Dado Moroni, he's the man on the small picture. He's my absolute hero when it comes to European piano jazz. I follow him since I'm 16 years old. He would often come to Switzerland and play here in Switzerland. And as a teenager, I was so impressed by his skills. And it's an honor for me that he agreed to play four-handed with me. So first we will play 40 minutes of 2 grand pianos four-handed. You know, that's really challenging for me, because I personally think he's 2,000 times better than me. so I better start to practice. Like I know what we're gonna play, so that's good news. So I can practice, you know, I can get ready. And then during the second half of the concert, my trio, Claude Diallo Situation, the one you just saw performing Nina's theme, is gonna join us. And then Dado will play some songs only him with my trio. Then I will play with my trio, and then at the end we will play 2 pianos and the trio. So I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's going to be the first live stream on April 30th, and then on I will have 6 more every month, but different things. So on May 20th I will accompany a great singer. Her name is Joana Obieta, and she will sing more like kind of Latin jazz stuff with another band. And in June, I will do another four hands with another dear friend of mine from Switzerland, Leo Tardin. Leo Tardin is a leading Swiss jazz pianist from the other side of Switzerland, from the French part. I'm here on the German-speaking part, and he's from the French part. And then I'm not telling about the whole program, but each stream will have another band and another style of jazz. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Right. And I think you'll be just fine because you already did amazing job performing together with our great heroes, which I just want to share the screen. Right
Which
now.
one? Wow. Korea. Wow. Oh, wow. Amazing. I forgot that you have that.
I think that was one of the great moments, I would say. That's because not everyone have that kind of privilege to be able to play with our hero, the late maestro, Chick Corea. You know,
I totally forgot that you have this material. I forgot that you have this material. Yeah, I mean, I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it that I was able to play with him. I mean, is it okay if I tell how this came to happen? So you know, I'm a big Chick Corea fan. Like since I'm playing jazz, like he was always one of my heroes. And when I recorded one of my first CDs, I also recorded a piece of his on that CD. And so in 2018, he came to play in a neighboring country from Switzerland. It's called Fürstentum Liechtenstein. Probably in Indonesia, maybe not many people know about this place. It's one of the smallest countries in the world. It's basically like if you go on Google Maps and you see it's so small, like Fürstentum Liechtenstein. So Chick Corea had a concert there. So I bought a ticket and I just thought, okay, I'm gonna go see Chick Corea play piano. And then when I entered the room, there was a lady saying, would you like to be on the stage with Chick Corea, like sitting behind him? And I was like, wow, that's amazing, but probably it's very expensive, right? And she said, no, it's for free. It's for free. Chicoria wants that. He always wants some people behind the piano. I didn't know that. It was cool. Okay, so then me and my friends, we were all sitting on stage watching Chicoria from so close. It was unbelievable. Like, what an experience. And then in the break time, he just sat there on the piano. You know, that was so strange. Like, normally an artist like this, like a big star, would leave the stage, but he was just sitting at the piano, like as if he was waiting for the concert to continue. And so I took the chance to go up to him and give him my CD with the song of him that I recorded. So, you know, we talked a little bit, like 5 minutes or so. And then in the second half of the concert, he suddenly said, and now comes the part where I want to play with someone of you from the audience. Like, is there any pianist who wants to play with me? And it sounded so unbelievable that nobody reacted. Like, people were shocked. People were like, why, did he just say that? Like, I mean, this is not possible, right? And then nobody raised their hands. Nobody raised their hands. And because he knew that I gave him the CD and I told him I'm a jazz pianist, he then turned to me because I was behind him. And he said, what about you? And I was like, well, I'm playing, of course. So it was so amazing. I mean, that is one of the most beautiful memories I had with a superstar like this. Yeah.
Oh. Well, congratulations for that.
Well,
because as I say, not every single jazz musician, even like the famous one, had a chance to have a four-hand piano with Chicoria. You know, it's amazing opportunity that you had over there.
He was he was such a generous human being, really. I mean, who does that? I mean, you know, I feel very sad that he already passed away. We almost have the birthday on the same day. I'm June 11 and he was June 12th. And this year he would have turned 80. And he was so good. You know, it didn't feel like he will stop playing music. Like, he could have played until he's 90, probably. Yeah.
And his music still resonates today, until
of
today.
Course.
You know, I mean, like, even also in the future, because there are a lot of memories, and you know, the song are being played in many such occasion or settings or whatever. And I believe a song like Spain, for example, is being covered by many international musicians from around the world. You know, it's now back to the works that you did. Of course, before the Dot Time Records album being released, you also have been releasing many albums as well, and you got a lot of also prizes and, you know, and acclaims from many different institutions. But when I'm just curious, when you composing and when you do performing, is there any particular way of you to have, I mean, like, for example, if you have something that goes to your mind, like, this is something nice word, you know, I mean, if you put that into the piano as a dialogue or as a conversation, are you start writing immediately, jump to your piano, or you just gonna kind of, you know, make a note or something like that? What would be your advice for any young musician who would like start composing their own originals and things like that?
And let me rephrase your question for my own sake, so I understand if I understood it correctly. So you are asking me what advice could I give as a composer for young composers or people who start composing, how they can catch an idea and put it on paper. Is that the question, or
kind of?
Okay. Well, really, for this I have to say the following. When I was starting out, I wouldn't say I was a good composer. You know, like I mean, I was able to put my ideas on paper, or you know, like to show other musicians what I wanted to intend to play. But when I look back at the compositions I did when I was 12 or 13, that's when I started. Like I really started really composing when I was 12 years old. I wouldn't say they were great, but each note that I wrote down had a meaning to me in that moment. So when I was 12, what I wrote then was really powerful and important to me, and I felt really proud that I was able to do that in that moment. So my personal advice or suggestion is never doubt yourself. You know, you always have to think that you live now in the reality where you're now, and there's always people who will say, wow, I really like this, or this sounds terrible. Why did you write this? You know, and I think the most important is that you don't have fear of getting bad criticism about your work. It's part of the path. You need to have this experience as well. So my personal advice is always write down what you compose, or what you have in your head, or record it. You know, nowadays you can just put on your phone. You can say, I have this idea, and you sing it on your phone, or you record yourself on the piano. And sometimes people are so busy, they have a great idea, but they don't have the time in this moment to write it down. And that can be very annoying. That happened to me a lot, that I had a great idea, but I had to, you know, for example, I was teaching a student, so I knew in 5 minutes my student is coming. So I didn't have time to write it down. And then when the lesson with the student was over, I totally forgot. It was like as if it never existed. So I think people who have a gift of composing should take it really seriously and make use of it. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for the advice.
Well, I hope that's good advice.
All right. I think we are now almost reaching to our final conversation. So
yes.
Thank you very much for your time and sharing some nice story about how you develop your career, and then also your experience with life and encounter with many different things. And I do hope that people who watch the conversation could, especially for the young generation, they could also learn something from you, even just by listening to some of your works, you know. And of course also congratulations for the upcoming concert. Looking forward to that.
Well, yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous.
The International Jazz Day. Okay. Before we say goodbye, and before you give your like a closing statement, I would like to say thank you very much for the Excel Home for the internet connection, and makes this live streaming run smoothly without having any some technicalities in terms of the connection. And also to the Haris Vertu Harmony Hotel in Jakarta. This is one of the nice place to stay if you happen to be also a big fan of jazz, because you will gonna hear the sound of jazz in the corridor when you are entering your room. So that's like a nice atmosphere that you will have. So thank you very much for Haris Vertu Hotel Harmony Jakarta for supporting this WartaJazz Talks edition number 32 with Claude Diallo Situation. Perhaps when you had a chance to visit Jakarta, you could also stay in this hotel, you know.
Yes, yeah.
And also would like to inform to everyone that tomorrow that we will gonna have this WartaJazz Talks number 33. So let me just share the information here. Yeah. So this Brazilian jazz session will be starting tomorrow, the session number 1 with Dani HS. Ya, buat teman-teman bisa join besok di WartaJazz Talks. Jamnya jam 8.30. So tomorrow you can join this session, and we moved the time a little bit because we are anticipating the Ramadan, which is happening just within a week or so. So it will be starting tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Jakarta time. So be sure to join us with the WartaJazz Talk tomorrow. Okay, last but not least, again, thank you very much to Claude for joining with us. I do hope that you can say something as a closing statement for all the people who are joining us and staying with us in the last one and half hour. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, again, thank you, Agus, for your generosity, for your hospitality, for having invited me. And thank you to all the people, my friends, people I do not know yet, people I've got to know. So, sorry, I'm still here. Hello? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just realized my iPad is almost dying. I just put in the electricity here. Sorry, that's a little technical thing. Okay, now I'm fine. So yeah, thank you to all the people who joined this today. And you know, I'm here on my iPad, but I realized this was on YouTube, this was on Instagram. So I'm really looking forward to see who interacted here. And I also see my brother. Sorry, I didn't see him. Thank you, Pascal, my brother, for having joined. He's a great drummer, my brother, Pascal Diallo. And yeah, I mean, I'm really wishing everyone in Indonesia a wonderful and peaceful Ramadan in these difficult times for humanity. And I'm really positive. You know, I always think positive. I think we all have to keep the hope, the faith that Corona will be under control. We will manage to continue our lives with this virus. I mean, that we can't erase it. It will be here, but we have to continue to live and create and meet people, culture. You know, get interchange between cultures. Jazz is about cultures. Jazz is about meeting, and I'm really looking forward to come to Indonesia at some point. I already been to Singapore, Thailand, Korea, Japan, Malaysia, China. I mean, you know, almost all Asia, but Indonesia is one of these spots that is on my I want to visit this place list. And thank you so much. I'm so happy that I've met you at Jazz Ahead, that we have this connection now. And I greet all the people in Indonesia and hope that I will be able to perform live for you one day. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Claude Diallo. So teman-teman, kita berada di penghujung acara dari obrolan kita pada malam hari ini. Terima kasih untuk sudah join. So thank you for everyone who already joining us with in Zoom, also in Instagram, and for those who are also watching through the YouTube channel. And of course, don't forget that we always have the WartaJazz Monday Lounge every Monday. And occasionally we have the WartaJazz Talk on Wednesday and also Thursday. Be sure to check out our social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And last but not least, please stay healthy. Try to implement the health protocol. Every time you went out, please wear the mask, you know, do social distancing, wash your hands. And most important thing is always be positive and optimistic. All right, this is Agus Setiawan Basuni, live from WartaJazz House Gallery. Before we really, closing down, I just want to play this last track from Claude Diallo and his trio. Thank you very much. See you sometime, and bless you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.